I'm Lyndsey Smith with Real Agriculture, and joining me now, it's Jenna Gregoire. She's based in Northwest Saskatchewan with Pioneer Seeds Canada. Welcome here, Jenna.
Awesome. Thanks, Lyndsey. Glad to be here.
So it is an interesting time of year, especially for your area. Definitely have dealt with maybe some adversity in the last little while. Start us with maybe catch us up. Where's harvest at on average where you are?
I would say it's really a mixed bag. So we're anywhere from around 30% to some guys are on the upward end to about 75%. So let's go with an average of about 40 to 50 for the area. Yeah.
And does it feel late? Does it feel on time? What's the overall sense of, is it hurry up and wait? Where's the headspace at?
I think overall, if you look at like the 10, 15-year average, I would say this is really on par. I mean, it's not unheard of that we aren't wrapping up until about Thanksgiving in October. But the last 5 years, it's been so hot and dry that things have came in quick. So everybody's kind of pushing that panic button because it is later than what it has been the last 5 years in my area. So overall, I think we're okay. Of course, we got lots of time. It's only middle of September. But compared to other years, yeah, guys are starting to push the panic button just a little bit.
Yeah, feels a little late, but really it's not.
Right.
But we always have that recency bias, right? So for sure. Now, a few things though for your particular area that some producers have had to grapple with. I want to start with a hail event that went through a few weeks ago. How has that impacted the harvest past? What decisions do farmers have to make?
Well, that one was a tough one. So about 3 weeks ago, it was a pretty nasty storm. And if you were caught in the middle of it, you had anywhere from 10% hail damage to a complete write-off and 100% hail damage. So that brings a couple things. I mean, with canola in particular, I'm getting a lot of questions of, well, what should I do now, right? And in that situation, I always tend to recommend a nice swath. You cut it down, you see what you have there, as opposed to letting it stand. And anywhere where there was bruises on those pods, it just makes it more susceptible to shatter, of course. But then it also brings into account if it was further along and you are seeing shatter out there, I mean, you need to make some fall decisions too. You're going to want to make sure that that's cleaned up in the fall, and you can try and get as many of those volunteers taken care of prior to springtime as possible. So, yeah, another thing to add on the list of ever-growing list that farmers have to deal with in harvest.
Canola is one of those crops that really can throw some curveballs at the harvest timing with decisions like, do you swath it? Do you let it stand? There was also a light frost event just in this last week. Did that catch a lot of farmers maybe behind the eight ball, or where was the crop sort of relative to maturity?
So majority of my area in the Northwest, we were far enough along that it really wasn't affecting anything much. In the South, a little bit more affecting things. So we really seen low spots, took it pretty hard. I mean, it was about -2 for an hour, 2 hours in some spots. Mm-hmm. And those areas have really started to dry up, and you can see the white when you drive by a field or walk through the field. So, but for most of the area, I mean, they're kind of looking for a light frost. They want those stems to dry down. They're still pretty green, and a frost would actually help speed things up for guys up here.
Mm-hmm. Now, just for those who maybe aren't aware, if a plant is too immature and frost touches it, what happens to the seed that's potentially in that plant?
Yeah, so if it's too immature, what will happen is there's a lot of moisture in those seeds, and if you get a frost too early, it'll lock in that moisture. So guys, when they go into harvest, they're going to have a really high green seed count, so they'll get downgraded when they are marketing their canola, and nobody wants that. So yeah, unfortunate.
Absolutely. Now, but as you said, sometimes nature can really help on the dry down side. So as the season goes on, we're not quite so worried about the frost events. They can be very helpful to get things dried down in the long term. It's just when it's too early, we're not so pleased. Now, yes, of course, one of the other things that happens, farmers, of course, are very excited for harvest, but you've got trials that you are wrapping up and taking off the field. What are you most excited to sort of sit down and crunch the numbers on from this year's trials?
We launched our 100 series hybrids, so I am the most excited to see how those are doing this year. I've only had a couple come off, but overall the yield results look extremely promising. So that's really excited. We've been watching these hybrids all season long. We really started to hype them up in the springtime. And now it's kind of like you get to see the fruits of your labor. And now's the exciting time. When those weigh wagons roll into the field and guys are taking it off, I think it's kind of like Christmas at Pioneer Hybrid. So that's the most exciting time for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that will, of course, inform, once we get harvest under our belts, then it's really, sit down and make those decisions for next year. I mean, it happens earlier and earlier, I think, every year. Thinking back to this season, what are some of the disease stresses maybe that are going to be top of mind for farmers going into next year?
I think after that hailstorm, we're seeing a lot of wounds on the plants. So there is a lot of blackleg starting to set in. So, I mean, guys who were having tight rotations, it's something to definitely keep in mind because those instances of disease are going to be that much more amplified the following year. So, rotation and what you're planting, it's going to be very important for the next season. So that is what I would say would probably be top of mind as of right now. There was a little bit of sclerotinia starting to show up in spots where they were blessed with some moisture this year. And that hasn't really veered its head for quite a while. So, I would say those two are probably top of mind for growers in my area to really keep in mind.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as I know, verticillium not on the radar for a lot of Saskatchewan growers as of yet. Very much on the radar for our Manitoba friends. How are you having that conversation with growers on getting out there and scouting at this time of year to see, verify, maybe look for things that look a little off or a little different?
Yes, absolutely. So actually last year we had quite a big amount of verticillium showing up, even in Northwest Saskatchewan. And I mean, if you look at the maps, we really shouldn't have it up here, but we do. It's absolutely here. So last year was more top of mind given the environment that we had. This year we had such a dry spring. We are still seeing it, but it's kind of on the back end, but it's really area dependent. So Northeast Saskatchewan, they're seeing it quite a bit actually. So yes, that's a really good raise. It's such a new disease that it is important that guys are out there walking their fields, seeing what they have, and making sure they identify it properly.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. All right, Jenna, thank you so much for joining me here on the Farmer Rapid Fire. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Lyndsey.